See, this is almost the same diameter.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least it'll help line it up better. And then what I would put,
It's close.
bear with me. It may be a smidge off here or there, right?
Yeah.
You may have to tweak it a little bit, but it's going to give you an. So you want to make sure you keep your right gap there, right?
Yeah.
This will give you that gap under here, so you can get your wrap across there.
Right.
And look, this is lower than that. Remember you were saying.
Yeah, I was worried about clearance.
And by the time you get your front bumper on here, your front bumper is going to hang to here. You're not even going to hardly see it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So that's higher than here.
Yeah.
So if you would bottom out, you're going to hit this. Well, you're going to hit your oil pan before you hit that.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be more worried about is that.
Right, yeah.
But it shouldn't. And you could probably always get,
Bigger
I don't know if
bump
you
stops.
could get longer bump stops
Yeah.
to keep that from happening, but you may not have. It's just already racked my knuckle. So now.
So would I want to get my cut here first, or do you think?
No, I think I would try and fabricate to get this one down
45?
to line into here.
Okay.
So now what we got to do is figure out this calculation,
Yeah.
and that is. I'd just take an inch off of this first,
Okay.
and then we're gonna hold it up a little less than an inch. You doing it on a chop saw?
I guess. I think it needs a new
blade in there. Or does it need a
No, I think it needs a new one.
Do I have a new one hanging up there? Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just using this piece of PVC to help us mock up our crossover piece going over to the other passenger side manifold. So I'm going to tack this in place, probably just with the MIG welder, and then I can grind those tacks back off and go over it with the TIG welder once I'm done that. But I need to tighten this band down and tighten these nuts down as well to make sure that we are in the spot we're supposed to be in. And then I can hold that piece up that I just cut and tack that in place. And that should get us an idea of where our crossover piece will line up. So that's what I'm on to now. All right, so while I have a second here, I figured I'd walk you guys through my TIG setup. So we are using an Eastwood TIG 200 AC DC machine. It's pretty decent. So far, we've had a pretty good luck with it. This is my first time ever really TIG welding anything other than just messing around with like some scrap pieces. So this is my first time also purging. So for anybody unaware that is new to welding or new to TIG, you really should be purging your pipe, at least on the pieces that you can at least get to. So I just have this set up off my van. So I had this bottle of argon. We're running about anywhere from 5 to 10 CFH. I'm at like close to 8 now. And we're just running out this hose into there, and you can use tin foil or whatever you have to pack that hole. If you have the plugs for, which you should have, I just don't. I'm unable to get them, so I literally just have my flange set down on this. I have 2 little holes poked in the bottom to let atmosphere out that end, and we're pushing our argon in from this end. That way we have a nice clean weld on the inside without any sugaring or anything. So that's my setup right now. We're running at about 50 amps, and I'm at about 25 to 30 CFH, depending on how thick I am. Roughly, I'm at about 26 CFH right now. I'm just running these TIG cups from Amazon. We're running a gas lens with 16th inch tungsten, using a 16th inch filler. And I have a number 12 cup on this, which I'm running. It lets me run a little bit longer before I have to stop. So we're going to get a few more tacks here, and then we can weld it out. So I'm just waiting to let this argon push that atmosphere out before I start making any moves on it. So we're going to tack here, tack there, and I'll split these other 2 tacks on the opposite side as well, and then we should be good. I also forgot to mention that anytime you are doing a joint like a socket weld like this or a butt-to-butt fit, you need to make sure that you prep your pipe, and you also prep your creases as well here, because I'm basically going to be at a 45-degree angle. If this, we're talking, this is my tungsten, and with a slight push angle this way. So that's the angle I'm going to keep. But as I was saying before I got distracted, sorry, we need to make sure we pay a lot of attention to prep with these, and that also includes purging as well. But with prep, I'm just using a wire wheel. I'm cleaning the joints where I'm going to be running my rod at, and then I'm also acetoning them. And then if I see little pieces of my rag left, take a propane torch and then just get some of that off. You can just burn it real quick to get it off of there. But if you're wondering why your rod's sticking and why it might not be taken into your base metal, it's probably because you fell short of prep. So we're going to focus most of our heat on the flange because we got thicker material than this. This is 16 gauge metal, and this is roughly almost 1/4 inch metal. So we're going to focus most of our heat on that. We're going to walk up, and we're just going to walk our way all the way to the next tack, and we're going to do that on each side until we're full. Hey guys, it's currently the next weekend and it's raining pretty good out, but we're still down here. I got the alternator on earlier this week. I got that in, and we're gonna work on getting the exhaust for the turbo ran out of the truck, which shouldn't be too hard considering it's right here. So I'm just gonna get these wires out of the way. We're gonna cut our hole or our piece out that we need to cut out for the exhaust to go out the side, and it'll be out right about there. So I'm gonna work on getting that done now, I guess, because I can't really do much else. I'm waiting for the bellows for the exhaust side to come in for the hot side, and then I can cut them and get the hot side tied in, and then we can start doing the cold side. So we got our hole cut. As you guys can see, it took me a little bit. I had to cut some of this part of the inner fender out, which I wasn't really planning on doing, but nevertheless, we got it cut, and it's angled up a little bit. And when I say angled up, the turbo is slightly angled this way. I'm exaggerating, but it's slightly like that. It's just the way that this ended up warping on me when I was welding it, so I should have been checking my level more than I actually was. I only checked it 2 or 3 times. I should have probably been checking it more than that. But we have our piece tacked up, and I used a MIG welder, as you guys could see. So right now I'm running 80 amps on the TIG welder, and I'm just going to go around and fusion weld these together, get some more tacks on it, because I'm going to go about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and then stop, and then another inch, stop, another inch, stop, all the way around. And once I do one side, I'm going to flip around and do the opposite side, just so that way I know that I'm getting even heat distributed all the way around the pipe and onto that flange. So I don't think I'm gonna have to bolt this up to keep it from warping because it's so far away from there. I think I'll be fine, and I'm only gonna be running about 50 to 60 amps across here. And then since I'm gonna be switching sides too, I don't think it's gonna be that much of an issue. So we're gonna go around and we're gonna get this tacked together a little bit more than what it is now, and then I'll grind them down a little bit, the MIG tacks, so that way they're not sticking out that far, so I can run right over them when I do my pass with the TIG welder. By no means am I a welder, but I think it's sealed. I don't think we're gonna have any leaks, guys. I think we're looking all right. That heat affected zone went a little bit too wide. Like I said, I'm about at maybe 55, 60 amps over there. I was using roughly 80 to 100% of my pedal the whole time, so I kind of went back and forth. That's why there's some inconsistency in it, but some nice colors. I know I'm not too hot or too cold, so I think I'm kind of right where I need to be. Got decent penetration. I would be purging this, but the problem is I can't really get a setup on the bottom for it. And then also, this is just a socket weld anyways, so it's not like I have to get better penetration. I'm kind of just letting it stick in place, but still got pretty good penetration on the inside. But I really wish I would have been able to purge this one. I did all the other pieces, and I plan to keep doing that, but nevertheless, we got this thing welded up, so I think that's about it. All we got to do is bolt it on now, or get it mounted up to that flange, and that's pretty much it. All right, we got her mounted up. Came out okay. I might put a trim piece over this eventually just to dress it up. I mean, the rest of the truck's pretty junky, so I don't really care. I mean, there's dents in the driver's side door. There's some dents on the other side, too. I painted it because his name's Frank, too. I mean, the pin striping is gone. It's supposed to be junky. It's just the way it is. But you can see our whirly boy in there. Looking nice and pretty. So that's it for that. Like I said, I might dress this up a little bit, but I'm not really too worried about it as of right now. So we have that done. I'm waiting to get the bellows in for the hot side so we can finish that. I'll probably roll that clip now because I'm doing this over the span of like a month. That's why it's taking so long for me to get this hot side and the exhaust done. And then we can do the cold side. And then we can do the fuel. And then we can do the water. And then we can do the rest of the roll cage with the bed bars out the back. And then we can start it maybe and I'll be happy for once. Maybe. I don't know yet. But that's where we're at right now. So I got these two tabs welded on to the aluminum intercooler because we're going to be mounting it. I can't really pick it up because it's really scalding hot right now. And I have some other stuff to do, so I'm going to let it cool. But essentially, we're going to let it sit right here. And we're going to drill 2 holes through that so the tabs overlap onto this. And then I have the other one centered down here so it overlaps over this on the back. So then we're going to drill through here, put another bolt through there, put a bolt through here, and should hold it pretty tight. At least I'm hoping it will. We'll see how much play we have once we put it in. But I put 2 tabs on it rather than just having the one on there because I don't want it flopping any at all, so it's not going to have a lot of give, but that's kind of what I want. So we have that done. I'm gonna let that cool. I'm gonna go mow the lawn, and then we'll come back in and I'm gonna drill the holes for them, and that should be it for mounting it. Here's what we ended up with. I haven't done a lot of aluminum as far as TIG goes, but I think that's all right. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. So it's pretty sturdy. So I'm putting all my weight on that and don't really have almost any movement. So once we get to doing the cold side, it should be relatively easy. Just weld a V-band to a short radius 90 and go into the bottom, and then we get probably a silicone coupling for here, and then a silicone 90 for here, and just 90 right up into there. Then I'll have to use a short piece of probably 4-inch or something, and then my blow-off valve will just have to be about right here. So that's where we're at right now. You guys could probably hear that ticking, and that was the sound of my tacks breaking. I didn't think it was going to break off because I had like 4 or 5 of them on there, but as soon as I added heat to one of them to start my pass, it just basically happened instantly. But this one wasn't as clean as my other ones. I was a little bit too hot there. I wasn't very consistent on it, but I think I tied in everywhere I had to, and I purged on this one. I'll usually purge for joints like this, a butt joint. I didn't do it for the V-bands. I don't know if I should or not because I'm new to this, but I haven't been doing it for the V-bands, so hopefully that's okay. But I have had good penetration on them, so I'm hoping that that's really all that's going to matter for these. I know that they'll hold. I don't think I'll have any issues with that. But yeah, for the V-bands, I usually don't purge. Or for the socket joints or whatever. Like for this joint here, I didn't purge either. This was for the bellow, for the exhaust. So I didn't purge for that one. But on the inside, I was able to look down it from here, and I could see I had pretty good penetration. And I cleaned it up a little bit, so I don't know if it really matters or not, but it's probably better practice to purge whenever you guys do this. So this is the kind of jerry-rigged purge setup I have going on. I'm almost out of gas on this one, but I have it going just for a few extra seconds here. I'll probably shut it off now because it's been going for like 2 minutes. But other than that, that's the last joint we have to weld for this side. And then we can do the other side, which is basically going to come from a sharp bend here, go up this way, go up that way past the turbine housing, and then jet up that way towards the manifold. So it's just going to come up and over basically. I can't take it down here, unfortunately, because it would cut too close to my tire, and I don't have room here because that's where my steering rack is, and obviously my frame's here too. So I'm very limited, as you guys can see. But I'm hoping that those tacks breaking didn't mess up my angle or anything. If not, I'm probably going to be pretty pissed. But I probably won't film that because this is about the last thing I'm doing for the night. So I think I'll roll the next clip now of either me putting this up or me starting on the driver's side fab. I think we're going to do something like this for this side. I have a 90 that I cut down. I didn't have another short radius 90, so I just cut this long radius pretty square on each side. So you can see our other end in there. So plan is to fit that up on there. Once we have that welded, we can come out of here with it, and I'm hoping I'll have enough room to get a V-band on the end of that 90, and then I have this other sharp angle, which I think I put over here. Actually, no, I put it over here somewhere, I'm guessing. Yeah, right here. So that'll come off the other V-band flange and come up, and then we should have a relatively straight shot up and make a few bends to the driver's side manifold. It's rather tight in there, but I really don't have another option, and I'd rather be able to disconnect it down further, because the piece for the passenger side is pretty long before you get to a V-band. So I'd rather have this one a little bit shorter so it's easier to get out if I have to take that out ever. So I would much rather have a lot of room. But what I'm going to have to do if I'm going to do that is I'm going to have to cut this out a little bit more to give me some more space to run that pipe up, because the back side of it, this side, will actually be hitting on this piece here, but on the other side, you know what I mean? So that's currently what I'm thinking. Looks like that'll actually give me enough room. So I cut this out because I got to make more room for my cold side. The silicone couplers and stuff for the cold side just showed up, so we should be able to get the turbo piping done as far as laying everything out and getting everything in its final place. And then I'll just have to cut room for my flanges for the blow-off valve, and then cut the room for my flanges for the wastegate. So one's probably going to go somewhere about down here, and then I'm gonna have to do my other one for the driver's side up here probably. I like to get it closer, but I really don't have any room down there unless I was to come out the side of that one pipe, but I'd have to orient it down then, and I'm not sure yet. I'll just wait till they get here so I can see what I have to do. But as far as the piping goes, we should be able to get this done. So I'm gonna work on getting those V-bands welded on that 90 and that other sharp 90 over there. So then that way we can take the piece off for the exhaust side, and then we can actually tack that on for finishing up the hot side as far as down here goes. Got that welded up, so I couldn't reach in there even with the largest cup that I had, which is actually a 24 cup, which is huge, but I couldn't even get my tungsten all the way in there. So what I ended up doing was I put a little bit of a MIG weld there, tried to get around it. It was hard to get the MIG gun in there, so it doesn't look that good, but I'm like, hey, why don't I just weld it from the inside? So that's what I did for right there. So that's welded on the inside, and then I made sure to overlap the outside to match the inside. That way I'm not, you know, missing anything. So I started right there, and on the inside it ends about right there where that straw color is, and the same over here. So I covered as much ground as I could, and hopefully that'll be fine. But I'm gonna let this cool a little bit. I might take a break and cool off myself because it's really hot out today. And then we can put this back on and keep piping this up to the driver's side manifold. All right, so this is our current situation. There to here. Should be easy, right? You'd think it. So this is where we're at right now. Tacked. Gonna tack this, and I'm gonna pull this back out actually first, and we're gonna cut this. So that way all we need is a piece of straight coming out of there. And that should be it. I hope. Got enough clearance on the bottom here to get the jacket on it. And yeah, we're looking okay. All right, so we're all tacked up there and into our slip joint as well, or our bellow, excuse me. So now I'm gonna pull this off, pull this band off, pull that band off down there, and then we can weld this all out. So I'm gonna hook up the purge, see how much I can get out of it, because that's the only thing I have left is whatever is in that little bottle, which I think is like below like 500 psi left in the bottle, so I don't know how long it's gonna last me. But the only thing I didn't like is that I had to kind of slip this joint in on this piece of pipe over this one, and then I did the opposite down there, just because of the angles that we're lining up. And nevertheless, though, it has a pretty tight gap all the way around, a little bit of a gap there, but not too much. And then it's just a slip joint there, 2 slip joints here, and that weld out right here where my finger is. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, right there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But now that's all tacked up, it shouldn't take me that long, so I don't have to, you know, fab piece up, weld it, fab another piece up, keep welding it. But this should get the hot side done, hopefully, and got enough clearance there, so we should be good until we got to put the wastegates on it. So this is what we ended up with. We are tightened on all our V-bands, I believe, except for that side. Bottom one on that side, I still have it tightened. But we ended up having enough clearance, so we're fine there. Goes down. Plenty of room on that back side. I'm gonna have to orient this back a little bit, the exhaust side. I have to swirl it back a little bit, so that way I'm not hitting the headlight housing there. But other than that, that's pretty much all the fabrication for the hot side, other than the flanges that go here for the wastegates. So I think for the passenger side, I'm probably gonna go right about in here. And then I was thinking for the driver's side, probably right on the side of it down here, if I can fit it there. If not, I'm just gonna have to put it up here probably. I'd like to get it as close as I can, because I mean that's another 1 to 1.5 feet of space without having accurate boost, having accurate dome pressure on it. So I'd like to get it down there, but if I can't, I'll have to place it up here. So that's about it for, like I said, the hot side fabrication. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any questions you have down below, or any tips, anything that'll help along the way. I'm pretty tired, if you can't tell, but I'm happy I got that all done, because that was a lot of work to get done as far as piping goes, because the cold side is actually a lot less to do. The only thing I'll have to weld is a single V-band flange and one other flange for the blow-off valve. But other than that, that's all the piping pretty much done. And then we can do fuel and coolant, and then some other odds and ends. But I hope you guys appreciated the video. Hope this might have helped you. It might not help you guys out too if you're doing any turbo build. As far as the piping goes, that's just how I did it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying it did work for me. So I know I got penetration on all my welds, and I purged when I could. So I'm pretty confident in it, and I feel good about that. But hope you guys enjoyed. If you feel like dropping a like, go ahead and do so. Leave any questions or any advice you have down below, and I appreciate it. So, thanks.